Congressman Duncan Hunter is sticking to his story that he played no role in misusing campaign funds.
But you never then use campaign
I've never
funds.
used campaign funds for personal purchases, ever.
You never tried to mischaracterize.
No way.
expenses.
No way.
Tonight, we are hearing from his opponent, who's calling for Hunter to step down.
Plus, Team 10 taking a closer look at campaign finance laws to explain how serious these accusations are.
And a cliff collapse in Del Mar, interrupting train service throughout the night. But we begin with the latest developments in Congressman Duncan Hunter's fight over accusations that he misused campaign funds, then tried to cover it up. The 50th District Representative continues to deny any wrongdoing.
He released a lengthy statement today. It reads in part, quote, "I believe in our American system of justice. I support our system of justice. I cannot say the same, however, for those within our justice system that have a political agenda to harm those with whom they differ. My constituents are not easily misled. I know they can recognize a political agenda when they see it, and can they disregard empty rhetoric when they hear it," end quote. And Hunter stressed today that he has every intention of retaining his congressional seat in November, while continuing to suggest that the indictment is politically motivated.
I'm going to have an election. I'm not resigning. I'm not going to resign with a bunch of leftist government folks throwing allegations at me.
This legal saga could turn to what was expected to be a political landslide into a tightly contested race. His challenger, Amar Campa-Najjar, finished about 30 points behind Hunter in the June primary, but it could be much closer come November.
10 News reporter Jennifer De La Cruz spoke to the Democrat earlier today, and Jennifer, he's actually calling on Duncan Hunter to step down.
Yeah, Lindsay, well, Amar Campa-Najjar has historically been behind in this race, but this indictment could change everything. I spoke with him one-on-one today. He tells me Duncan Hunter needs to take responsibility for his actions and that the people of this district deserve much better. 48 pages of allegations against Congressman Duncan Hunter don't come as a surprise to his opponent.
I think it underscores what we've known is Duncan Hunter thinks he's above the law.
In a one-on-one interview with 10 News, Democratic candidate Amar Campa-Najjar says this is all part of the corruption in Washington.
I didn't inherit a congressional seat from my daddy, and I don't sell my votes in Washington to the highest bidder.
The incumbent representative and his wife indicted on charges of fraud and campaign finance violations of more than $250,000.
And I think, trying to enrich himself at the expense of his donors and pawning it off as some generosity, that's a problem.
Campa-Najjar says one of the things that surprised him the most were the negative comments he allegedly made towards the military.
I was a little bit surprised by his comments about the Navy. I think him attacking our justice system. I mean, he's supposed to be the law and order congressman.
He says the allegations are so severe that Hunter should step down.
I think it's best for him to bow out. I don't think he'll do it because he doesn't have a track record of making the right decision, clearly. That's why he's here.
Duncan's campaign released a statement saying the whole thing is a political stunt. His challenger says otherwise.
And then he blames other people for the campaign finance problems. He needs to take responsibility. I think it's time that there's someone that brings national pride to this district and not national shame.
Hunter is set to be arraigned in federal court tomorrow. Campa-Najjar tells me he's going to be there. Reporting live, Jennifer De La Cruz, 10 News.
What a wild day that will be. All right, Jen, thank you. Our team coverage of this story continues with our Team 10, Melissa Macia, who is digging into the campaign finance laws.
She joins us in the studio with what the Federal Election Commission has to say about this spending.
And Lindsay and Steve, it's right here on the FEC website. It says, plain up in front, using campaign funds for personal use is prohibited. Many of the accusations in the indictment include spending on personal dinners, vacations, even more than $6,000 for their kids' tuition.
I've done nothing wrong.
The indictment cites multiple times the Hunters allegedly used campaign money for personal meals, including spending nearly $1,000 for tickets to Mother's Day brunch and gifts at the Hotel Del and $300 for a birthday party at Searsucker. The Federal Election Commission states campaign funds may be used to pay for meals during face-to-face fundraising events. A candidate may not use campaign funds to take his or her family out to dinner. Vacations and travel must be directly related to the campaign. But prosecutors accuse the congressman and his wife of taking family trips with campaign money, like to Italy, spending over $14,000. Regarding tuition, campaign funds may not be used for tuition payments unless the payments are associated with training campaign staff. But the Hunters are accused of paying off their bill at Christian Unified Schools with campaign money. On the House Ethics Committee website, it emphasizes that White House rules require campaign funds be used for bona fide campaign or political purposes. It does say the rules don't have a definition of that term and that each member has wide discretion to determine what that is.
And the public, you at home, have access to money political candidates receive and spend. It's right here on the FEC website. Melissa Masiha, Team 10.
Thank you, Melissa. And we'll continue to stay on top of this story. But if you want to read the indictment and the congressman's full statement, you can go to our website, 10news.com.
All right, Lindsay, Brian Schlonsky back with you now inside the 10 News Live Center, continuing to watch breaking news. We first brought you on 10 News at 5 o'clock, a bluff collapse in Del Mar. Let's first take you out to the live pictures right now. Inspectors have been out taking a look at this. You see the caution tape is up, trying to keep people away from this. This is 11th Street, kind of close to where they do the Del Mar Farmers Market near City Hall. If we flip over now to show you Sky 10, you can see what this looked like from the air, that big collapse there, and it's very close to the train tracks. When this first came out, train service was shut down between Solana Beach and Sorrento Valley. Since then, we have seen both the coaster and the Amtrak go through there. That means that those inspectors you see right there checked out the tracks, and they deemed at least the tracks to be suitable. But you see there all the rocks laying there on the ground. And the good news, though, nobody underneath there and nobody hurt. Back to you guys.
All right, thanks, Brian. Now to a North County murder that made national headlines. The Carlsbad woman who says she killed her husband after years of abuse wants her sentence shortened. Julie Harper got a mandatory 25 years to life added onto her sentence because she used a gun. But a new state law lets the judge use discretion over the gun allegation. And that could reduce her sentence to 15 years. The prosecutor says Harper's appeal is reopening the wound to her family.
Unfortunately, I believe it does create some trauma and re-victimization for the Harper family, particularly the Harper children, who believe that this sentence was final and now have to face the fact that Julie Harper is back in court.
And the next court date is scheduled for October.
All right, now to a follow-up on last week's violent confrontation between sheriff's deputies and a suspect. The man who bit a deputy on the hand has died. Marco Rosales was taken off of life support yesterday. Deputies got a call that Rosales was acting strange in front of a Circle K in Fallbrook last Thursday. Rosales got belligerent when they tried talking to him, so a deputy tased him. That's when Rosales bit one of them in the hand. Rosales was being taken to the hospital for an evaluation when he passed out. His family decided to take him off of life support to donate his organs.
I was wondering exactly what's going on and thought maybe there was an issue.
Well, this man just got a $900 electric bill, and he's far from the only San Diegan with sticker shock.
Stunningly, high electric bills are hitting inboxes from Point Loma to Poway. In our latest Making It in San Diego edition, our 10 News reporter John Horn explains how families can lower their bill with just a bit of timing.
It's another 80-degree day here in San Diego County, but cranking up that air conditioner, not the only reason families are receiving stunningly high electric bills.
Want to ride your new scooter?
When 3-year-old Audrina steps onto that scooter, it doesn't cost her parents, Jeff and Amanda Tarzia, a penny. It's a different story for many other things in their sun-baked Poway home.
I don't know how people are supposed to survive and not use air conditioning in basically the desert.
But Jeff's been sweating a bit more these days and cutting back his AC because his family just got hit with a $500 electric bill.
I'm at a loss. I honestly don't know what we're doing different from year to year.
A few things have changed in the last year, and it's not just the sweltering summer. SDG&E instituted a state-mandated third usage tier for its highest users, a bridge that Tarzia's crossed. Plus, rates themselves have gone up since last year, some as high as 28.5%.
While there is frustration maybe over somebody's bill right now, there's choices to look at in terms of, hey, is this the right plan? Am I even on the right plan? What can I do?
SDG&E spokesman Wes Jones says San Diegans can switch to a time of use plan where energy is most expensive daily from 4 to 9 p.m. Then they can plan ahead by setting the AC lower before 4 p.m., turning it up when that time hits.
You're going to experience some savings right there because your AC is not running as hard from 4 to 9, but you're still using all the cooling that you had earlier in the day.
I think what happens next month is we're going to be sweating it out a lot more here.
The Tarzias, for now, choosing to sweat over the heat and not their next bill. John Horn, 10 News.
And you can call SDG&E to ask to be switched to the time of use plan. If you end up paying more on that plan in your first year, the utility will refund you the difference. We asked all of you what some of the biggest obstacles are that you face while trying to make it here in San Diego, and figuring out how to pay power bills is one of the struggles you mentioned. Carrie P. wrote that she could make it in San Diego if the water and the utilities don't keep going up every other month to some astronomical amount. Comments like that help us understand what's important to you and decide which issues to highlight. So keep sending your stories to tips@10news.com.